It is St Kilda v Port Adelaide headlining Saturday night football. The Saints trying to win 6 on the trot for the first time in a decade. Former club skipper Nick Riewoldt is alongside me. Rui, the Saints went to Cairns early this week to acclimatise to the heat and humidity as we see this exchange of gifts, which is a beautiful moment between the two clubs. Whereas Port had a bit more of an interrupted preparation. They didn't have a direct flight from Adelaide, so they had to spend the night in Sydney. So it's been a bit more hectic for the Power. The Saints will be settled and ready to go. Yeah, no excuses. I think the players are pretty used to over the last couple of years with COVID and all of the limitations and restrictions they've had placed on them. The players just go with those sort of hiccups now. One of the big positives out of Port's performance last week was Connor Rozee. He was deemed best on ground, and he provides that spark Port needs sometimes. Yeah, well, sometimes when you're really struggling, you just look to make changes to find that spark or provide that spark. So Travis Boak went out of the midfield, Connor Rozee came in and he was brilliant. So expect him to spend a lot more time through that part of the ground with Butters and with Dersma. I think now's the opportunity to really get some exposure and have a look at those guys. I know Boak's been a great warrior and he'll continue to do so, but the new brigade really need to push Port Adelaide along now. What about St Kilda, what they're doing so well that's impressing you? Yeah, well, it's a forward half game for me. I mean, you look at their ability to turn the ball over and then go back and score in the forward half. And a couple of years ago when St Kilda played finals and beat the Western Bulldogs in a final, their ability to get really easy goals from the goal square on the back of forward pressure and turnover, that was what set them up, and they're doing it again this year. So look for those small forwards, Butler and Higgins and all of these guys to get involved with the pressure and then capitalise. We can't have the Saints pre-game without mentioning Max King, number 12. How's he taken his game to another level, do you think, this year? Oh, I think it's just completing his plays. So last year he got his hands to the ball a lot but just wasn't completing the plays. He'd like to improve on the 1-goal-7 he kicked last week. His radar was a little bit off, but I mean, the fact that he still had 8 shots at goals shows what a weapon he is in front of the ball. Certainly doing number 12 justice, isn't he? All right, here we go. First quarter, live from Cairns. It is St Kilda taking on Port Adelaide.
Away on Saturday night football. Butters, little toe poke, Crouch, out it hard. Boak too desperate as always. Sinclair having some sort of year. Still involved again. Tumbling ball, skips into the hands of Darcy Byrne-Jones. His kick will come unstuck. Ben Long at halfback. Little one over the top. All on his lonesome memory, a long way from home.
Tom! Stand! Play on.
So the Saints trying to make it 6 on the bounce after losing the season opener to the Pies, and King hands on it early. Couldn't bring it to ground. Crouch wrapped up King last week. 1-7, 17-17 for the season so far. Almost.
Still a good sign, isn't it, Max King, that he's imposing himself on games. You can just feel that he's got that strength about him at the moment. It was a toe poke from Rozee. Career best numbers last week in the midfield. Free kick's been picked out off the ball here. It was Port Adelaide surging it forward, but the other way of Josh Battle on the outer wing. Kazali Stadium here in Cairns. He drives it long down the line. Big fist away. Seb Ross read it better than anyone else. Hacks a kick forward, and King again going to be a big night for Cleary. He's giving away height and strength, and Big Mac's a little bit of a shake of the head, but he's in the play early, the big man. So Ryder against one of his old teams, and a big job for young Sam Hayes. Third game. Connor Rozee again finding a lot of the footy early. Out to Motlop. You get the feeling that these conditions might really suit Stevie Motlop. Picked it up, well tackled immediately. Wanganeen-Milera got him. Tumble kick forward, and Leah, as he so often is, reads the footy earlier than anyone else on the ground. And Leah coming back in recent weeks from an ankle injury, he's starting to really find his place. Burton down the line, almost like a free kick, but here come the power on the back of an Ollie Wines. Ball Marshall, kick 5 last week. Dougal Howard, some pressure. Wilkie read it really nicely. And now the Saints, through Jack Sinclair, clear their defensive zone.
A chance for Wanganeen-Milera, almost wearing that famous number 7. Byrne-Jones inside. Little chance here. Dumont just going. Also very clear. Dumont Happy just to give the glare, nothing more. We know how that ends.
Just straight up and down the line at the moment. Neither team's been able to change the angle at all or get anything through the corridor.
Pattern called to play on and does quickly. 5 inside 50s just to 1 early going. Aaliyah again tries to clear the way. Couldn't quite. Rosie with speed. Gets past Wanganeen-Milera. Power Pepper. Enormous pressure. Winds on the outside of that boot. Skips it towards half forward. Howard leads Marshall to the race. Butters. Clever. No distance with the kick. Hill. Slippery ball. Worked towards Battle. Battle back to Ross. Ross to Sinclair. 50-50 ball. Motlop a chance. Runs into Gresham. Handball's back inside. Still a chance for Port. Rosie was clean. Gave it off. Wines. Quick kick. Now a task for Jonas. Bounce kind enough.
Just see the confidence Connor Rosie's building with his midfield time. Hung in the air a little bit too long for Burn Jones's liking. And Jack Steele, what a player. Here he is, the Saints' inspirational skipper, All-Australian in the last 2 years. Spotted Membry out wide, Jonas onto it. Awkward ball for Butler. He played it pretty well. McKenzie might take the advantage, exactly what he does. And he weighted that kick nicely. This is Big Tom Campbell on debut for the Saints. His 3rd club. And actually a reasonable set shot kick, Big Tom Campbell.
He was out for a long time there. He got in behind the defence. He was on his own for 15 or 20 seconds there.
Spent 7 years at Western Bulldogs, 3 years at North. It's taken 10 years to get his 50 games, but he's a competitor. Not a bad-looking attempt, just started a little narrow.
Games have been far and few between. 7, then 6, 7, 6, 9, 7, 2, 1 and 9. Always given his all. Never quite found a spot as a dog or a roo. First outing as a Saint. Houston thumps it into the middle of the ground. Howard now, the low ball. King went to ground. Aaliyah held his. Free kick going the way of Max King.
Paid that for a block, the umpire. And a 50-metre penalty. Bit of dissent.
Easy as you like for King.
Well, he gets rewarded there, King, because he's already been involved in 3 or 4 marking contests, and the more contests you get to, he's either eventually going to mark the ball or free kicks get given away when defenders are got to keep defending. And a good start for King.
There is the push in the back against Max King, and Richo, pretty obvious free kick probably in the end for mine. Tom Cleary not overly happy about it. Just come back to his leading patterns, which look like they've really improved, and the confidence building for Max King. Here's Houston, half back. He's coughed up the handball though, so a little bit of third pressure. Mason Wood, the former Kangaroo, out there. Jack Steele thought about going off the ground. Now Willem Drew involved. They surge it forward again, the Saints, but Aaliyah has just got a great ability to put himself in the right spot. Comes out wide now to Georgiades. Finlayson's got the wing on his own. You can just see there, top right of screen, if that's where the kick goes. It was a little bit slow and opened the door for Membry. Went back courageously, hacked off the ground by Wines. Cleverly done to Boat. Scrambles a kick forward. Marshall, a lot of Saints numbers back there. And Jack Sinclair has got it at half back. Bradley Hill, he's loving the half forward roll. Doing it beautifully, Bradley Hill. He's made a huge impact in that part of the ground. And the short kick has found Jack Higgins, who could not be in better form at the moment. Young man's kicked 9 goals in the past 2 weeks, Jack Higgins. Golden opportunity for him once again. Jack Higgins. 6-8 from set shots. So still a work in progress, that part of his game, Jack Higgins. Through for a minor score.
Inside 50 count right now. Big differential. Wines really clean. A little bit of a kick and run. Chance for Gray. Always clean with the football. Very slick in the end on the up to Georgiades. 9-1 inside 50 count. Ken Hinkley looking a little stressed early. Callum Wilkie, remarkable story. Still hasn't missed as a Saint and been doing a wonderful job this year, taking all the best of the forwards. Higgins shoveled the handball out. Houston off a few hands. Should just land in. Big fly in the end, but not able to bring it down. Windhager. Teenager will have a look. Deep inside 50 again. Off the side of the boot. Little chance for Hill perhaps if it's off hands. Wasn't. Fell short. Now Gresham stopped quickly. Gave it off to Crouch. The intern fires the handball back. Trying to skip through Windhager. Butler. The pressure King handballs. And this time Mackenzie puts it to full forward. And the flies from King. Not quite through hands. Cleary off the side of the boot. Sam Hayes. Bouncing ball. Mackenzie gets rid of a few. Sets fire. Heads for home and goals. Saints have got a couple.
Great finish by Mackenzie. He's another one of those improved players for St Kilda, having a career best year at the moment, playing on the wing. A great ground ball player. And a really nice finish there. The Saints dominating territory here so far at Ghazali Stadium. Great contest from King. Look at him launching at the ball. Coming in from the side, forces the spillage.
Such a great sight that is to see Big Max King, isn't it? Launching himself. They're +9 in contested possession, the Saints, so they have really come with some aggression. Finlayson, boat kick, lands in the lap of Wanganeen-Milera. Regarded as one of the best kicks in the draft last year when he was picked up, and that was a nice mark from Cleary, who you know is going to have a big night on Max King. Not 15, and now Paddy Ryder goes after Burne-Jones, who was pretty happy to have the safety of the boundary line in the end.
Defending the ground so well at the moment, St Kilda. Port just really struggling to move the football. Saints winning the contest, getting it forward, and then they just don't allow you to transition the ball.
I feel like they've got the game right on their terms at the moment, the Saints. Connor Rosie, boat dumps a kick down the line. Georgiades, Wanganeen-Milera tried to feed it back to the voice of Ross. Going to get some support. Comes in the form of Jack Sinclair, who's had a sensational start to the year, but now into the lap of Travis Boat.
Saints +7 contested possessions, 11-1 inside 50s as Boak. Defensive side of the wing, goes looking for Finlayson. Sinclair will get there before Farrell, scooping through Wanganeen-Milera. Terrific in the end, wonderful hands. Windhager in trouble, loses the football. Port get hold of it. Finlayson fires, but he's offline. Marshall asked to do a lot.
You mentioned Sinclair there, Darcy. He's just getting back and supporting his defence so well at the moment. He's always there to mop up or get that handball receive and just relieve the pressure for his fellow defenders. Just having an amazing year, Sinclair.
Almost be leading their BNF.
Have to be close, yeah.
Jimmy Webster. Wanganeen-Milera has featured pretty regularly in this first term. So big Tom Campbell, the target down the line. He'll do that all day. Big Tom put his frame in the right spot. Kane Farrell, second game back from an ACL reconstruction. Just a full 12 months. Great to see him back out there. That one can't be kept in by young Marcus Windhager.
Daniel McKenzie down here at ground level, guys, has been in the hands of the trainers for a few minutes. He's got this massive egg coming out of the right shin, so trainers just working on him at the moment.
Thank you, Abby. Tom Campbell, third jumper at AFL level. Dogs to the Roos, now a Saint. Old man Mark watching it on the stands 3 rows down from us. Says he's as excited to play his first as a Saint as he was his first in the AFL full stop. It's been a long journey for Tom Campbell. Veteran in terms of years to a youngster.
Holding, Port Adelaide.
Lear's free kick at half-back.
So Hayes off the ground. Powell Pepper is having to do the ruck duties against Campbell at the moment.
Campbell and Ryder on offer for the Saints. Bonner, and that silky left of his going back with the flight. Campbell, Butters, little assist to Powell Pepper, but nothing really clean. Half-back crashing on through brilliantly, really bravely, and then was Gray. Mason Wood, little handball to Ross, and the Saints have suddenly got an opportunity through Hill.
Release on life. Bradley Hill starting at half forward and using that extraordinary aerobic capacity. Takes his time. We know that foot skills are a real strength. Memory was taken off the ball, and he's going to draw a free kick.
He's got a mismatch with King if he goes quickly. Cleary trying to get back.
And that's where he heads. Max King came over the top, crashed the bat. What a great sight. Higgins won the footy, was tackled immediately. No prior opportunity. Max King a little slow to get up, Richo, but you've got to love the way he's launching at the footy at the moment.
He is. That's a couple of times now he's launched and just created a contest, and that spill comes straight to the front. The crumbing forwards, that's where they want it. Part of his job, King.
Butters' hands were terrific to Aaliyah. Kick ends up on the wing, taken nicely in the end by Battle. Handballs to a bit of space. Gresham runs into that, then dances past a couple of Port Adelaide players, dumps it to about 30 metres out, and King again! Not paid. Cleary swift. Dumont tried to get the kick away. Campbell assists. Just back to Max King. Second most contested marks at this stage of a career behind James Podsiadly. So Pod's 115 at this stage. King, Revolt, Rory Lobb, all at 95.
And in fairness to Max King, I think Pods was 28 when he debuted and played a fair bit of footy.
Mature ager.
It's a great story, isn't it, to see Max King just getting stronger by the minute. Yeah, Carl Amon, a little bit crude there. Was the attempt from Tom Campbell. I just feel like they need some steadying possessions here, Port Adelaide. They've been jumped in this game. Not too much damage on the scoreboard. So Burton sends it down. It's a good kick. Beautifully weighted to Robbie Gray. He's prepared to back himself in. He's done that from the very first moment he stepped on an AFL field. Finlayson went to the voice of Willem Drew. Handball wasn't great. Battle under pressure. Riley Bonner and Gresham. And a free kick going away of Patton for St Kilda.
Patton quickly moves it on. Saw Gresham had a break. And Gresham around the corner. Here's Higgins, got to deal with Jonas. Aaliyah too. Higgins might end up with the ball. Was held when he hadn't taken it cleanly. Maybe a little lucky to get away with that. Just in terms of Butler, the pressure he applies, Richo, you speak to anyone at the Saints and he says that is the benchmark. Everywhere around the ground, just what Dan does.
And that's his role, and he plays it so well. He's #1 in the comp, post clearance for tackles, Dan Butler. And that's what he made his name on when he played at Richmond. Small forward, pressure forward, doing the same for the Saints.
Campbell given a fair bit of time. There's Butler on cue. Left foot bender was going to be something special, but it's across the face and out of bounds on the full.
It's a really complimentary forward line. You look at St Kilda, you got King and Membry as your two tall targets. Butler's your pressure, and Higgins another small player, but he's more of a goal kicker than Butler at the moment. But when you put it all together, it's so effective.
Ryder and Hayes. Hayes thrown out of it in the end. Butler went without it. Crouch had a little swing at it. Willem Drew to Dumont. To the outer wing. The leading Marshall.
Back 2 metres, Dougal.
Big week. Last week, Marshall 5-1. 11-1 for the year. Come from 3 games. 2 outings of 5. A single goal in the opener against the Lions. Butters Couple of bounces now. Ugly sort of a ball to half forward. Tough for Georgiades. Motlop just got the kick away. Bouncing ball in the end. Farrell didn't take it cleanly. Ross, hands quick. Knew that batter was there. And a hopeful ball to the wing, but it's all Port Adelaide. Aaliyah had it kicked in his direction. Rare mistake. Let it go to ground, and then Mason Wood to space. Hill with speed, soccers it forward. Port player will arrive in the form of Tom Jonas. He throws his head back. Nothing doing from the whistle standpoint. Umpire will throw it back in front of us. Here on the, we call this the members' side, Richo, certainly the grandstand side.
Grandstand side. Do they have a members here?
I think so. They have a full house, though. 13,500 full, and hopefully we'll get close enough to that. Tickets sold.
And enjoying themselves in Cairns. As Jonas, Jack Higgins prepared to just stay off him for a moment, see if he could manipulate a free kick. None doing. Nice contingent of Saints fans here. They've been up in this part of the world. The Saints players really immersing themselves in the community. Ryder so dangerous in this situation. Boat. There's the pressure of Butler we've been speaking about. He's an A-grader in that part of his game. Seb Ross tumbles an awkward ball in the Higgins direction, but stepping in front, Tom Jones takes a pretty easy mark in the end. 16
inside 50s now for the Saints. And this is the problem for Port. They just can't get any ball movement happening from this back half. It's all long down the line. Exactly what the Saints want.
And Richo, 16 inside 50s to 4. The differential needs to be narrowed quickly.
It certainly does. But they're not winning the contest. And if you don't win that, and on a night like this, when it is slippery, if the Saints are getting it forward first, it's really hard to transition from one end to the other quickly.
Ryder just felt like arguing, didn't argue, knew what it would have amounted to. When he sees the replay, it'll be hard to actually mount a case. I think he ran straight into Hayes, got over his shoulder.
Good composure from the young big man. Just his third game. As Richo said, there's a lot of this slow, long kicks down the line. Hard work for Georgiades in the forward. Butters won a 50-50 contest. Boak in there. Going to have to win another one, Zach Butters. Wanganeen-Milera was strong. Still gains a bit of territory.
You're just going to rely on contested marks, Duke, if you're going long down the line. And at the moment, you've got Georgiades as your target. They're going to him now.
It's a long, high ball again. They draw a free kick here. Georgiades will get a little bit of relief. Can send Port Adelaide into attack. Marshall, on the back of a 5-goal performance, will have a bit of head of steam up. The Saints defence really well organised. Ross dumps it down the line. Aaliyah waits for it. Going to back himself in against Membry. Left foot ball, wanting Motlop, but a couple of hands in the back, and it'll be a free kick to Jack Sinclair.
It's Ross and Sinclair that get back, and that they just offer so much support, whether it's at ground level or a handball receive when they get back there.
Alarming for Port Adelaide at the moment. 6 inside 50s, but only 1 disposal when they've got it in there. So it's a system that's breaking down. Almost 3/4 of this first term spent in St Kilda's half. Webster, lovely kick in the end to Ben Long. Runners come, this time Ross, awkwardly on that right boot of his. Might just work out, there's a couple of Saints there. Wilkie rolls onto that left of his, towards full forward. Through hands, Gresham, normally pretty crafty here. Might get a second opportunity. Hands heading towards Mason Wood. He'll work onto that left, plenty of activity at the fall of the ball. Higgins was one of those that got there first. Jonas, a bit of a swing and a miss. Not the same for Demont. Mark about 60 from home, this time Howard.
Did pretty well, Dougal Howard. Started his career at the power, bat to long. Here come the Saints inside 50 again. Aaliyah's working overtime, and Hayes has taken a nice defensive mark. I feel like they've had to work overtime, the Port Adelaide defence, Richo.
The problem with a lot of this when you're having repeat entries is there's always numbers there, so it ends up being hard for you to score as well. And the Saints are just bombing it back to numbers as well at the moment.
all of the pressure being applied on Port Adelaide has just meant it's been camped inside forward 50 and a flying shot. Wanganeen-Milera has just managed to sneak that in for a minor score.
So you might look at the stats and think, you know, 17 entries, only a couple of goals, but it's just the numbers back there. It actually becomes hard to score as well.
(20-6), the inside 50 count. Wines off a set of hands or two towards half forward where Gray takes it clean. Thinks about what is next. Powell Pepper provides the option. He's chosen. And nothing really doing deep. Into the pocket. Plenty of run from Boak. He's the only option. Might work out well. A couple of goals so far for the year for Trav Boak. 4 behind. Started at half forward last week, averaging 32. Time is certainly not slowing him down. Body's still in wonderful shape. Port need this.
Wearing a glove there tonight.
Get to that in a moment. Rosie back to Boak. Boak on that right of his in a tough pocket. Off hands, into hands. From Mason Wood to Jack Sinclair. And we'll come back through Carl Amon. Amon will be about 60.
Got a powerful left foot kick. Carl Amon normally uses it well. Chance now, Ollie Wines, big, powerful midfielder. Strength got his way through, but can't get it online. And some tension there for Ken Inkley. They feel like they need to really try and get the game back on their terms. It's been a bit of a domination this first quarter for the Saints.
Easy out of defensive 50 there. Mason Wood had a break of about 15 to 20 metres. Low ball's got a clear Alir. Membry charges. Alir stood his ground. Follow-up work very good. Demont. Slippery conditions. Happy just go off the ground. Here's Mason Wood again. Handballs towards Ross. Clean enough in tricky conditions. Long. Runs away from a couple of the power players. Low ball. Attacking side of the wing is Jack Higgins. Up towards half forward. King, of course, the obvious one. Hayes couldn't handle it. Burton, Butler, Burton. Little handball wanted Georgiades, but getting involved Wanganeen-Milera. Hill through the legs. Wanganeen-Milera again. This time Hill thought about slapping it towards Webster. Couldn't quite get it there. And Rosie. Well, it's going to come back, you'd think. Howard just needs a kind bounce. Gray, though, puts the pressure on. Gray somehow wins the battle. Tunnel ball only as far as Wilkie.
No presence at ground level at the moment in their forward half. And Sinclair again. Ross and Sinclair both had 9 disposals now, and they're just working back. They work back to the contest. They're always there.
Paddy Ryder sets himself. Darcy Byrne-Jones, super consistent defender, as unfortunately from a Port Adelaide point of view put that out of bounds on the full. So still time to score here. Probably close enough to get some instructions as well. Jack Sinclair to get it moving quickly, and that's exactly what Seb Ross does. Max King in the pocket, normally uses it well. Seb Ross, boundary umpire couldn't have been in better shape, and he's said that's out of bounds on the full.
Boys, Jake Gresham, sorry, Das, came from the ground straight down to the rooms. He's moving fine, as you can see, so we're not entirely sure what the concern is there, but I'll chase an update for you.
Thanks, Abby. Sinclair, meanwhile, sends it back inside 50. King in a wrestle. Wanganeen-Milera, terrific. Higgins, capable of anything this time. Slides across the face. Still a chance here, the Saints. Jonas. Captain's play. You get the sense that Wanganeen-Milera is going to do some clever things over the next 10 years or so.
Held on pretty well here, Port Adelaide. They've been outplayed in every area of the game. The scoreboard hasn't got out of control. So quarter time here. Beautiful Cairns, far north Queensland. It's humid. And the Saints enjoy a 13-point lead going into the quarter time break. We come back with Saturday Night Footy, live from Cairns.
Knock on his hip and he'll be fine. He'll be out in a minute. Yeah.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it, Russ.
Thanks, Abby. Thanks to the Saints coach, Brett Ratton. And a fair point he makes. It is really greasy out there. We've had a lot of rain in the build-up to today, so not easy for leading forwards.
Yeah, not easy for ball movement and slick sort of play either. So Power have just got to even up that contest. It's going to be one of those nights. If you win that stat, you're going to win the game.
Jack Steele has an impact early. Higgins was the target. Mason Wood. Not clean. Butler tries to scoot past. Aaliyah might get away with this. Bouncing ball, controls it well. Aaliyah comes back into the contest. Always gets humid, Richo, here. So tricky, but when it's been raining all day, really difficult.
It is very difficult. The ground is really wet down there.
So the wing the ball sails through hands again. Powell Pepper this time couldn't get boot to ball. Picked up by Battle. Backs it towards half forward. Misses all. Get their hands on the football again. 13th. So incorrect stats. Polly's about to give you an inside 50 count. Houston. Off Patton's hands. Boat towards half forward. Picked off and in by McKenzie. Battle's got the run. Taken off the half volley by Membry. It wasn't easy, but did it well in the end. Webster back to Membry, back to Battle. Aaliyah uses his body brilliantly in the end. Jack Steele never in the contest.
He has been unbelievable down there, Aaliyah. Really built his own wall down there, Kate. Farrell from that ACL. Dougal Howard with the fist. Powell Pepper trying to see if he can manufacture something out of it. Wanganeen-Milera has had some nice touches so far in this game. Picked it up, a little bit of a party trick, well played. Some smart ball use in a really tight situation there.
Even then, that was Sinclair again. Howard got that really good spoil in, and it was Sinclair that just got over and got a toe on the ball and got it over to the boundary line.
Just got a little look at the greasy ball. Seb Ross really cradled it to make sure he didn't drop it. Bradley Hill all on his own. That spells trouble to Higgins. And they've broken down the Port Adelaide defensive zone there. Jack Higgins worked really hard to get in that spot.
Yeah, great work by Seb Ross, who's having a really good game and wanted to get involved. He wasn't happy with one possession. He follows up and gets the ball back. That was a really good play. And that's what Bratton wanted. They were just a bit one-dimensional.
6-9 from set shots, Jack Higgins. And that is a great strike straight through the middle. Big goal for young Jack. Goals past 2 weeks. Jack Higgins had a few opportunities that he could have nailed, and that'll build his confidence from the set shot.
Jackie Higgins. Come on, let's see Jack Higgins. You know they call his name, and he really loves the Saints.
There's Sinclair there getting involved here on the wing, and then he follows it up. He gets it into Bradley Hill, and that was just really good run from behind. He comes from behind. He helps Jack Steele out, who dropped a mark, but he was in the vision of Steele, so he could give it off. So he's playing really well.
Membry got rid of the tackler. Chance here to butter up again and did well. Off a shin, not too far. Ryder ran into Aaliyah. Ball spilled to Butters. He's hopeful with his kick towards half forward. Chance out the back for Georgiades. He's got a bit of speed. Wilkie cuts it off at the pass. Just back to Jack Higgins, Richo. We know he's had his moments in front of goal, but his first 5 scores for the behinds. Since then, he's kicked 15-6.
He just wants the footy, Jack. He's hungry to get the ball in his hands, and he's a natural forward. He senses a turnover as well as any small forward in the game at the moment, and that's why he's able to get out the back a lot.
10 goals now in the last 2 weeks. Early stages of this game. It's a great return for effort. Outside of the boot job from McKenzie. Aaliyah has been in everything. Really holding up his end of the bargain. Houston just cruises through half forward. Awkward ball to Mark. Picked up by Ollie Wines. Open goal square. That might be something from nothing. It is. Ollie Wines got it. scrambles the goal. Understatement to say Port Adelaide needed that desperately. Came off the boot of the reigning Brownlow medalist.
Nothing pretty about this for Port Adelaide, but it was a goal they desperately needed, the Saints. The first 3 goals in the game. But Ollie Wines, he's having a good night. 10 disposals, 6 of them contested. Much needed goal for Port.
Ryder got Steele, Gresham and the youngster Windhager to choose from in the middle. Neither of them get hold of the football. Port Adelaide. Patton left it behind. Chance for Pal Pepper. Brushed his way through. Dropped the footy but got taken high. Back-to-back goals inside 30 seconds, perhaps.
He's been pretty good this year, Sam Powell Pepper. Even in some of their losses, I thought he was just about their best player. He's an effort-based player, and that was a good example of it. He's aggressive in the contest. He wants contact, and he draws a free kick just through his aggression. Good contested player.
Looking for his 8th goal of the season. Saints fans applaud.
Taking his time with ball in hand. Dougal Howard, he's got some big targets out here in King and Ryder. And Paddy Ryder just effortlessly took that mark. It's a bold kick. Could come back with interest. Beautifully picked up Butters, and then that was chopped off. Equally well done, Sinclair to Jack Steele. A little bit of a round arm from Dan Houston. Prepared to just spread it out wide now to Ben Long, and that's a well-crafted kick. Marshall miraculously got away without making front-on contact. Good effort, Windhager. Trying to power through. Well done, the young man. Flicked it over the top, though, easily taken care of by Ryan Burton.
Love it how you deliberately can't handball it across the line, but you can deliberately just tap it across the line.
You can see the cogs ticking with Ken, trying to work through the problem, find a solution. Ryder. He almost found the solution he was looking for. Just pushed it to the left.
His athleticism still there, Ryder, isn't it? He hasn't lost it.
Tom Hawkins has made that such a legitimate tactic, and why wouldn't you use it more? That was a millimetre away from a goal, and goals going to be pretty hard to come by here in Cairns tonight. You feel Port Adelaide tracking out of boundary. Finlayson kicked 5 last week over the top. Motlop, he's got Butters running shotgun. Decided to take on a couple of tacklers, and that man, Ben Long, you don't get through many of his tackles. Powerful unit. Speaking of powerful units, Dan Houston, Willem Drew, slippery footy as we know. Port Adelaide midfield has drawn a free kick. Put his head over the ball, and I feel like Port have addressed that so far in this second term. They were just beating around the contest big time in the first quarter. Marshall, Motlop got into his move early. Trying to find a way was Dumont in there. Robbie Gray, beautiful little sidestep. Back to the former Kangaroo. Dumont almost threw that out. Ollie Wines, Willem Drew, Butters, shinned it forward. Wines ran into his own man, picked up by Marshall, and that was a clever little kick around the corner. I reckon he heard the voice of Georgiades and found him perfectly in the end.
Pretty simple game tonight, and they're just starting to win some crucial balls, some really crucial contests. They won inside 50 there. It wasn't pretty. Series of handballs, finally able to hack it forward and playing in front, Georgiades. Those balls that drop short, you play in front, you get rewarded.
26-11, season 2021. These set shot kicks are going to be massive tonight. He's a technically nice kick of the footy, Mitch Georgiades. Big moment for him. He's pulled it.
They only give up 8 marks a game at the moment. St Kilda in their back 50, so that means you're not getting a lot of set shots at goal against the Saints. You've got to make them count. They're not going to give you many chances.
Not sure what that 50 was for. I was looking at half forward and then heard the whistle blow. Not sure whether it was a protected zone or some descent. Meanwhile, the Saints happy to move it forward. Wilkie as the runner in battle. Into the pocket it sails. Well done, Campbell knocked it down. No one at the fall of the ball from a St Kilda perspective. Burne-Jones wrapped up. There it is. Dumont pleading with the umpire, having a chat with him. Arms to the side. I think that's all it was. Long ball. Ollie Wines has to wait as it went up the chimney. Now it's Jonas who tries to pinch 50 or 60 metres. Might just come back. Wilkie at full stretch, not quite. Well done, Mason Wood. Hard for Webster, but he did well. His kick just trying to land between a couple of the Port players, off a few hands. Sam Hayes, Riley Bonner, and Port a chance here. Battle pushed towards the ball by Finlayson. Tried to be pushed off it again. This time Battle clever with a little soccer kick. Found Ross in turn to Wilkie. Battle keeps it in. Hemmed in against the boundary line, but got the kick away. Campbell manhandled a little, then went to ground. Picked up cleanly by Powell Pepper. Well done, Rosie. Stepped through traffic, had the runner. Bonner on his favourite side. Now to Gray, back to Bonner, now to Amon, who fires inside 50 and hopes for a flying target. Almost for Georgiades. Mopped up by McKenzie. Thought about Wilkie. He instructed to go the way of Hill, and that's what he's done.
On the ground, Bradley Hill's covering, starting at half forward. They've got numbers out here, the Saints. That kick need to be accurate, but how good a role is Aaliyah playing? Stop certain scoring opportunity again there, Aaliyah.
Higgins was out the back there if Aaliyah didn't come across and chop that off.
He's had 7 intercept possessions already in this game, Aaliyah. Worth his weight in gold. That man, a high ball from Motlop. Awkward one for everyone. I think Tom Campbell back there in his first game for St Kilda. Sebros spirals it down the line, and that is a brilliant mark. You just feel like Stevie Motlop's going to do something special in these conditions tonight. He's got a very full trick bag, Stevie. Georgiades, Ross shrugged the tackle with ease. Got it to McKenzie, getting better and better. Dan McKenzie, nice hands out in the wing. Good strong grab from Membry.
Membry got a couple to choose. Max King was leading at the ball. Higgins was running if it went through hands. Takes a little off the kick. Just falls short for Higgins. Burton, big frame, turns about. Doesn't get flustered or rushed. Sends it to the outer side again. Motlop deals with McKenzie. McKenzie keeps it in. No. Tried to have the win with the umpire.
He didn't get the ball then, Higgins, but gee, worked hard to give them an option inside 50. His game's really based around his work rate at the moment. He's working so hard, not just back, but hitting up at the ball carrier as well.
Humidity high, players dripping in sweat, ground wet, tricky conditions on a Saturday night in Cairns. McKenzie went out of the air, didn't risk taking it by hands. Burne-Jones' kick not so good. Powell Pepper in trouble. Patton the tackler. Gresham grabbed it before he hit the ground. Off to McKenzie. Now Campbell. Tom Campbell towards half forward. Aaliyah lost his feet, gave his opponent a chance, but such is the way he's going at the moment. Aaliyah ends up with a football.
Had it fisted away to Kane Farrell by McKenzie. Managed to keep it in, and Powell Pepper, the beneficiary, just pounds a long ball down the line. Battle. That slippery foot is causing all sorts of troubles. Battle went to go back and win it again. Well, I thought it was a bit clumsy from Finlayson, but he's been rewarded with the tackle. Jeremy Finlayson goes short. Chance coming up off the boot of Butters, and again the drop chest mark. It's so slippery out there. Players are really finding it difficult. Hacked off the ground, and it will be thrown in.
Just a mistake by Georgiades. Obviously dropped an easy chest mark, but that ball into Butters there was a good option. Don't bomb it long, get it to about 55 and then try and hit a leading target. So that build-up was a lot better by Port Adelaide.
Really difficult conditions for AFL footy. There's a strong tackle as McKenzie came full-chested at it. Wrapped up Kane Farrell. So Pau Pepper, the second ruck roll. That's an interesting move from Ken Hinkley. Marshall coming through. Finlayson nearly had it. He was out. It was going to be a certain goal. Jeremy Finlayson knew that that was a near-run thing.
Ken's making the point. Question is, can his team pick it up and act on what Ken's hoping them to do? Campbell knocked it down. No clear win for either side. And Dumont, clever little handball. Drew, slick hands, Burn-Jones. Didn't have a lot of room to work with. Did well. Gray, little slap to Dumont, who gets it back to a dangerous spot. Forward ball is Pau Pepper. Does the don't argue against Patton. Might just get on the end of his own handball. Continues to charge at the football. Patton gets a tackle on. Still Pau Pepper's involved. So too is Patton. He ends up with the ball. Shovels it wide. Butler never really took the football. Help arrives. Battle. Youngster took on the big hit and did well. Windhager. Butler still involved. Outside of the boot. Might work out. Windhager again runs into Jonas, picked off by Butler. Saints somehow end up with a football. Hill, the handball in hope. This is where it might come unstuck and does. Dumont, Amon, kick good to Rosie.
At 10 in the first quarter, Connor Rosie. Now to Houston. What a great kick, it has to be said. And Wilkie, he just does a job week in, week out, Callum Wilkie.
Doesn't get beaten, Callum Wilkie.
Become a really important player, hasn't he, Richo? Here's Wanganeen-Milera. Happy to take a bounce. Came back to him nicely. This is a good build-up for the Saints. Higgins goes back to Wanganeen-Milera. Glides through half forward. Long ball in the Max King direction. Over the top, Jonas. Getting back Burn-Jones. All Australian defender was there at the right time. Gresham's tackle was pretty effective. And he's been rewarded for it, Jade Gresham. Kane Farrell a little nonplussed about it.
Well, the umpire's saying you ducked your head into the tackle.
Gresham wastes no time. He's such a creative player. Cleary happy to see that one over for a minor score.
I think that's the right decision. You duck your head into the tackler, that's your prior opportunity gone.
Burton gets a lot onto it, sends it right into the middle of the ground. Dougal Howard, former power player, knocks it back towards Dumont. There's Boak with that glove on. Quickly towards half forward again. Howard flies. Motlop, little opportunity to gain 20 or 30 metres, and I hope there was someone there. There wasn't in the end. Mason Wood at half back. Steele. Plenty of friends helping him out in the early going in Cairns in the middle of the ground. Memory, couple of grabs. Umpire said controlled it before the line. No. He tried to convince the umpire that he said controlled it before the line. Great atmosphere coming into the ground tonight. 13,500. All the tickets snapped up, we're told. Steele towards King. Half volley. Ricochets back into the centre square. Chance for Crouch. Had to be quick. Might get a second look at this. Does. Had to be quick again and wasn't.
Thought about taking the advantage with Riley Bonner. Instead, Dan Houston just going to take his time, and seen a lot of kicks down the line. It's a risky ball through the corridor, given the humidity and the slippery conditions. So Houston steers it down the line. I'm going to say Port Adelaide player off the ball has gone down. We'll come back to that.
Finlayson.
Yeah, Finlayson looks a little distressed. You can see There's an elbow he's signalling off the play, and it's taken the wind out of him. So not happy, Jeremy Finlayson, at all. He looks a bit sick and sorry as well.
Holding, arms around.
Free kick goes the way of Tom Campbell. He's still a bit distressed, Jeremy Finlayson. So Tom Campbell, King, the big man down the line. It was a poor kick, always favoured Houston.
Happy to work it wide to Bonner. No clear. Look at that. Yeah, all players went underneath it. So a chance here for Marshall perhaps to get it down the line. Can't find his man, Kane Farrell. Just on Trav Boat, speaking to him before the game, he said, I'm going to wear a glove tonight. He said, I was cutting some beef strips on Thursday night, getting ready for some burritos, and I took a fair bit of my finger off.
Oh, no.
So he took the top off, couldn't have stitches, took a fair bit of the meat off. He's had a shot just to numb the finger tonight. He hasn't worn a glove for a while, used to, but back doing it because he was clumsy in the kitchen.
Park the burritos for a while,
Yeah.
Trav. I think that's not going to help you. As Membry sends the Saints into attack, one-on-one opportunity. Wanganeen-Milera, look at that pickup. Superb with the one hand. Ryan Burton got back and saved the day. You love seeing the highly skilled players, don't you? Finding a way in the conditions as Burton steers it down the line. Easy pickings in the end for Membry. Used to see the players in these sort of venues and up in Darwin wear gloves pretty regularly, Richo, to try and deal with the slipperiness.
Even in Darwin, the sweatbands, just to try and keep the sweat off your hands.
Ryder again, just using his strength, crouch, fight it back to Gresham. Didn't quite hit as he would have liked. A lot of height, not a heap of distance. Aaliyah did well, cleaned up. Not quite the 15. Amon skips towards the boundary, might just pitch inside. Trickles over in the end. Was it Darren Campbell from the D's that first started wearing them?
Tony Campbell.
Tony Campbell.
Tony Campbell, yeah. I reckon late 80s.
Yeah.
Had the slick back do.
Now I've got to try and work out who Darren Campbell was in my life.
Had some big jobs, Tony Campbell. Used to play a lot on Plugger and
Wasn't
Jason
a good time to be a fullback, Duke, back then. Every week you had one, didn't you?
Nice hands from Steele to Gresham. His eyes lit up then, Jade Gresham. Thought he was a chance. He's always a chance, but even he couldn't find a way.
Spoke about Jack Sinclair in the best and fairest thoughts. He'd be right up there.
When you average 25 and a goal and a half, I mean, that is an elite number from a mid-forward.
Demont's long kick ends up in the pocket. Battle and Powell Pepper go to the line in unison. Powell Pepper continues to slide into the fence. And given the free kick, was it in the back by Battle in the end? Try and find that out as Burton ends up on the end of a 20-metre kick, about 75 from home. Big fly from Wines, just misread it a little. Still in a dangerous spot. Wines came charging through. Ryder becomes a rover. Rosie, quick hands. Again, hard to take cleanly. Willem Drew merges with the football. Farrell was on his right side, which was his left, but didn't get rid of the footy. Jimmy Webster does well.
Kicked the ripping goal last week, Kane Farrell, in his return game from the ACL.
Just got a little text message through that Don Scott wore some gloves back in the late 70s. So he might have been the first, Hamish.
Fairly eccentric.
Yeah.
Big Don.
That might have been a fashion statement from Don.
Wouldn't put it past him. What a
Only took one off after arriving at the ground from just a chilly ride in.
300-game legend, Don Scott.
It's a bit of a scrap between the arcs at the moment.
And now that is some courage in that kick. If you're prepared to take on the corridor, can you get rewarded for it? Carl Amon looked up and not a lot of movement ahead of the footy, it's fair to say. So he's going to go down the line. The young ruckman Hayes, good hands. Well played from the big man. Sticks it out wide. Taking a fair bit of time. Burton. Georgiades over the top of his head.
I worked out who Darren Campbell was, by the way. Athens gold medalist in the 4x1 sprinter. I knew he was back there somewhere. Took a while and some help from Rod Jamison.
He didn't wear gloves, though.
Well, he did in the winter. Just walking his kids to school. Tony Campbell is what I was looking for. Hayes got a hand onto it. There is the man wearing the glove, Travis Boak. So the old veteran continues to do what he's done since the moment he arrived at Port, and continues to do more than most off-field to make sure it continues.
Love to, if they could find a way to goal here, Port Adelaide. There he is again, Travis Boak fighting hard. Jack Steele, great composure from the skipper. Clears defence, looking down the line for Campbell. So not much has changed on the scoreboard. It was a 13-point lead at quarter time. I'm in favour of the Saints. It's only 14 now. You feel like Port Adelaide have played the game on their terms a lot more.
They have. I mean, they've evened the contest, and this quarter's been pretty much an even quarter. So that's where the game's won and lost tonight. And as the game goes on, it's going to probably take an individual act of brilliance inside 50, a good crumbing goal or a big mark, because it's just so hard to score once you go in these conditions.
An umpire has said insufficient attempt to keep it in. So Port Adelaide have got time to score here if they're good enough.
Through a few. Dougal Howard did brilliantly in the end. 3 or 4 went up in front of him, and he was clever enough to take it. Gresham on the up to Crouch. Steele just pressed pause for the moment, liked another option. Wanted Windhager, and intercepted by Burton. Down the line, bouncing ball into the hands of Battle, who takes on a couple. Boak and winds at once. With St Kilda, Richo, all their players that we've known for a while are sort of having career years, and all the youngsters that arrived have just fitted in.
They are. And that's the key to them this year. I mean, we're talking about the best and fairest, but you can probably wheel off 5, 6, 7 players that, you know, you could mount a case for there.
Just know Ken Hinckley and Brett Ratton will know these 50-50 games that are a real arm wrestle. You know there's going to probably be a handful of points in the end. You look back on your year and they can be massive. So huge amount at stake here in Cairns. Low scoring. Might just be a goal from something fluky that decides it in the end. So,
well, that's what happened up here last year.
Got a habit of happening strange things in Cairns Kazali Stadium. And some tight contests. Port Adelaide trying to get a late goal here. Long took on the tackle of Powell Pepper and then almost sold himself into some trouble. Mason Wood and Webster. Saints defence combined pretty well. And there is the halftime siren. So
tight affair in difficult conditions in Cairns. The Saints lead at 24-10. It was the Saints by 13 points at quarter times now.
St Kilda leading Port Adelaide by 14 points. Can the Saints make it 6 straight wins this evening? Bucks, if you can, Hinkley, what have you said at halftime?
Well, the young fellas through the midfield are doing well. So Butters and Rosie, helping out sort of Wines and Boak. So there's a bit of young and old there, and they needed to introduce new blood there. But they're around minus 20 contested ball, just shy of that. So St Kilda are dominating where this game is going to be won and lost, and that is in the clinches. And if Port Adelaide to give themselves a chance, they need to reverse that so that they can get territory and hit the scoreboard in the second half.
Tough, slippery conditions in Cairns. Brownie, you got to take your chances in the second half.
Yeah, played a few games up there. It's always low scoring. It's challenging, especially when the players are not used to those conditions, and obviously humidity with the sweat and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be hard to fight back for Port Adelaide, but the midfield in St Kilda has been fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. So always a good night out after a game in Cairns too. It's been fantastic. The woolshed was magnificent, dancing on the tables. Great place to visit. Big aquarium. Oh, big aquarium.
You're the ambassador for Cairns as well.
It does too as well.
Here we go, second half from Cairns.
With his athleticism, slaps it forward. Butters goes back to Riley Bonner. Tumbles it to the outer wing. Mason Wood leaves in the race. Dumont couple of former Kangaroo teammates out there. Dumont is going to pick it up, comes back inboard. Nice one to Connor Rosie. Had Ollie Wines going past, decided to go on his own. Now a chance, one-on-one opportunity. Beautiful ball, Robbie Gray. We didn't see a lot of that at all in the first half, and this would be the ideal start for the Power.
Yeah. Bit of speed on the ball there, which was the key. Robbie Gray held his position really well deep and was able to get over some numbers and get into a one-out situation.
Second most goals in Port Adelaide history behind the great Warren Treadray. He's got 357 coming into tonight. Make that 358. Said a bit of speed, some quick movement, and a rare one-on-one opportunity, and that is a good man to kick it to one-on-one.
A much better build-up here by the Port Adelaide Footy Club. It's that inboard kick, just changes the angles, keeps the St Kilda defenders moving there. Robbie Gray one out in the goal square, and it was a great kick. Put it to space and allowed Gray to run onto it.
50 for the year for Robbie Gray, first of the night. Back-to-back goals. And they muster another. Butters involved in the chain. He and Rosie combine again, and Butters just has a quick couple of steps. Well-weighted ball, Wines, Rosie, inside, took too long, got rid of the football, but umpire said he had the opportunity. Hard to argue.
Yeah, their intent's really good, though, trying to get the ball moving a little bit quicker. I mean, if you don't move it quickly tonight and it's slow going into these conditions inside 50, you're just not going to score. So Port's intent to move it a bit quicker.
Brad Crouch sent it to the wing. Butters involved again. Ross tries to get away from Burn-Jones and does. Now towards half forward. Chance for memory. Aaliyah did well as he was falling. Put it to the run of Amon. Amon on his right boot. Full stretch. Butler. Terrific in the end. Slippery ball. One arm. Controlled it. Now towards Hill. Hill and Jonas might just skip on through. Does Demont get there in time? Just.
I feel like Port Adelaide has started the second half with desire to move it a bit quicker.
Robbie Gray's really holding deep too. Darce down that line, so they're just trying to stretch the ground out a little bit, try and get through this congestion.
It's a good one-on-one deep matchup in these conditions too for Port Adelaide. Robbie Gray, there he is. Look at the beautiful hands out the back. They've got a chance here. Kane Farrell in good shape. Well played. So again, the quick movement catching out the Saints' defence.
Yeah, when they were kicking that ball in, Robbie Gray was standing back inside the forward 50. So you just feel like Ken Hinckley's trying to just stretch the ground out a little bit more. He was then able to come up, get involved, and had a one out back inside 50. They're like gold tonight, one out opportunities in your forward 50.
Missed the second half of last year with an ACL injury. It's just his second game back, and highly skilled player. Huge moment coming up. Farrell has slotted it through. Great moment for Kane Farrell. Brilliant to see him back. It's always a big challenge, isn't it, coming back from the most serious of injuries. And he was great last week, his first game back, and that's a big moment for him.
Great start to this quarter by the Port Adelaide Footy Club, just getting the ball on the outside. The Saints have only had one uncontested possession to 13, so the first time tonight been able to make the most of some uncontested play and get a bit of pace on the ball. Looking a lot better, Port Adelaide.
5 minutes of football, 21 disposals to 6 so far in favour of Port, and they drive the ball forward again. This time Howard, big fist away. Georgiades almost stopped it. Gray not finding the wet ball hard at all. Finlayson feeds the handball. Poke got it away. Still the Saints have got the numbers. This time Wilkie crashes it towards the wing. Burton, well-weighted ball around the corner. A couple of Port players, Amon and Rosie. Ross wants to argue, doesn't, tilts his head. Had to do that, I think. Top of the square. Patton stops, winds in his tracks, and he's in some degree of discomfort. Grab the forehead, eyes, nose.
Will and Drew. Well played. Sebros stood up under some pressure. Kick away from Crouch, but Port Adelaide really piling on the pressure in this second half. Back to Houston.
This looks more like Port Adelaide that we know. Winning time in forward half, repeat entries.
Houston sends a long ball, huge amount of numbers around it. Big pack, ground ball, opportunity. Robbie Gray again sliding in. Webster. I won't mind this, as Richo said, it's that repeat time inside their forward 50, and Robbie Gray's come to life.
You've got to be very careful when you're sliding in like that and you're kicking the ball off the ground. I've seen those paid before, taking players' legs out.
Ross gains a heap of territory. Burn-Jones. Little handball went nowhere. And suddenly DeMont wedged between a few. Free kick going his way. Taken high in all of that. So Port seem to have momentum. Can they make the most of it? Big fly from Marshall. Motlop thought about dancing through, couldn't quite. Saints by 3.
Only 6 St.Kilda players have touched the ball, make that 7 now. And they're just closing down space, and no uncontested footy out there at the moment for the Saints.
Big lead of 19 has been whittled away to just 3. Burn-Jones to Burton. Make it Houston. Finlayson just held out by Battle. Kick always to the Saints side. Went off earlier, indicating they'd been elbowed. Might have just had another separate collision here. Left elbow of Mason Wood. Underneath it, a few players. Max King out the back. Just a little kick towards Higgins. Jonas and he do battle. Mopped up by Burton. Given off to Amon, and Port have got the numbers. They run the line. Burn-Jones to who? Umpire said insufficient attempt to keep the ball in play. Butler eyes up the Saints' 4th. Started to come back and then drifted the other way, as they tend to do.
Wasn't a lot he could do there, Darcy Burn-Jones. Could maybe accept the tackle over the line. Would have been his only other option.
Taking plenty of time, Burton, and then long down the line. 2 Ben Long, as it turned out, and he has been awarded the free kick. Thought about releasing the handball, now he does. Sinclair, and a clever little short ball to Ryder, who's just about within range.
That's great play. Sinclair again, he wants to get involved in offensive moves coming from behind the footy, and that little handball receive just breaks everything up, keeps the defenders guessing, and Paddy Ryder's able to drop into a little bit of space there. So well done Long, but well done Sinclair. He really wants to get involved in those sort of plays.
Back from a couple of weeks suspension, Paddy Ryder, beautiful looking kick off the boot, just drifted late.
Been a little wasteful tonight, St Kilda. 2-4 from set shots. Burton. Burn-Jones allows him to run a little further. Free kick in the middle of the ground. Didn't see it, Richo.
Yeah, block on Marshall on Howard.
Howard heads in the King direction. So too Tom Campbell. Higgins scrapping amongst it all. Did well. Just poked it towards Brad Hill. McKenzie drifts towards goal. Always just going across the face. Got a pretty good sighter on that from where we sit.
Gone long on these last two kick-ins. Haven't been able to get a result. See if they try something different on this one, Port Adelaide.
I feel like they've dialed up their risk appetite, Port Adelaide. Second half, prepared to take the game on a bit more, and now Burn-Jones goes short to Stevie Motlop. A bit quicker with their ball movement out wide to Dumont.
Using the ball a lot better in this third quarter so far, Port Adelaide.
Back inboard to Stevie Motlop.
Don't really want to go long here if you can help it.
Free kick off the ball has been picked out, the non-controlling umpire, and it's just all happening Port Adelaide's way. Georgiades, you reckon this is the one he's going to get going. That's been the shift in the second half. Really playing on Marshall. Good looking attempt. Ground ball follow-up. Still a live ball in there, and they're just putting some pressure on the Saints defence regularly at the moment.
If you're going to wheel and go long inside 50, go long straight away. Don't wait 3, 4, 5 seconds, because by then the Saints get numbers back. I reckon that first time is always the best time to go in.
One-on-one's going to be won by Cleary. Max King disappointed with himself. Quickly moved it to Houston. Port going about 86% in his third term by foot, 62% in the first half. So more efficient, and it's showing on the scoreboard. Last 3 goals of the game to Port Adelaide. Georgiades almost. Rosie with speed. Finlayson, a little opportunity. Ball just spilled in his direction. Georgiades, not quite. Motlop, no distance. Howard has some help. Long. Wanganeen-Milera. Half back.
Saw the uncontested possession stat. Just all the way of Port Adelaide. They've dominated control of the footy. Can they get one against the flow of play? Beautiful kick from Bradley Hill. Release the skipper, Jack Steele. Higgins, the leg got back, as he always does. You'd love him as a teammate. Just consistently gets across to help out his fellow defenders. Marshall.
They did this a few weeks ago in the third quarter against Carlton, Port Adelaide, where they really shut down space, didn't allow the Blues to have uncontested marks or possessions, and done that so far here to the Saints.
Georgiades almost claimed the mark. It was off a couple of hands. So it's been a nice response, this, from Port Adelaide. Low-scoring game. Port Adelaide have kicked the last 3 goals after the Saints kicked the first 3 of this match.
2 of those in this third term. Saints haven't lost a third term so far this year. The way you pull the Saints game apart, they've been impressive. Scored 573 points in the first 5 rounds, averaging 96 after that hiccup against the Pies, highest at any stage of any season since 2012. Farrell, clean, and then towards the wing the ball sailed. Marshall, brave, Battle got involved too, so too Georgiades. Gresham just put it back into a contested possession, somehow climbed over the top, ended up with a football. Little kick only as far as Butters. He finds Gray on the lead. Led Webster to it.
50.
What became a maybe just about becomes a certainty.
What was that one for, Hamish?
Well, I'm looking at Dougal Howard and thinking I need to see a replay. Did he move?
It's hard
off
to
the
know.
line?
You need to see replays to know what they're for.
Robbie's arguing his angle, looking for his second to become the only multiple goal scorer on the ground. When Gray's got it, write it in the book.
Port Adelaide have kicked only 3 goals this third term. Robbie Gray's got 2 of them. Scores are level here in Cairns. They've got all the momentum all of a sudden. Port Adelaide, Finlayson in the ruck. Free kick. It's going to come back the way of St Kilda, Paddy Ryder. All of his experience on display. Really strong effort this from Ken Hinkley's team, Richo. They were jumped in the first quarter. It looked like the Saints were just going to blow them away in the first 15 minutes of the game. They've drawn back level. Can the Saints respond here? Membry out the back. Chance for Big Max King. Got to be a free kick. Riley Bonner. Overzealous.
And she's got good second effort for a guy his size, 200 centimetres. Just dumped him, didn't need to. In his defence there, Bonner, he probably thought the ball was still in, didn't realise that it spilled out. Spills out there, he's got no idea that it's come out, so you can see why that happened.
1-7 last week will be somewhere in the back of Big Max's mind, directly in front. Surely not from there, and wow. So devastating miss directly in front.
It was just dropped the ball drop there, but might be a bit of a hangover from last week there in the mind as well. Didn't kick through it at all.
It's gone from the back of his mind, Richo, right to the front.
Absolutely. 8 behinds in a row now to the Saints. Can Jack change that?
Just knocks up in the right spots, Higgins, doesn't he?
Yep. From 3-3 to 3-11. From 19 points up to right now, just a point up. They were level before the King kick. Umpire shuffles a long way, and the rot continues.
Every time they've gone long from their kick-outs this quarter, it's come straight back in. He's having another go, though.
Prepared to go up the corridor to Finlayson. Saints scramble to kick back. Off the boot of Sinclair. Aaliyah tried to guide it down. Zach Butters will go as hard as anyone on a footy field. Kick into the space. Webster, Powell, Pepper. Charges at it. Webster took him high. Umpire let it go. Webster flicks it back. An awkward one for Long to handle. Finlayson. Big 50-50 ball. Beautifully picked up. Great tackle pressure. Farrell. Boak to Motlop. One-on-one chance. Georgiades. Wilkie fisted away. Finlayson's a chance from there. He's missed.
Maybe had a little bit more time than he thought there, Finlayson. On a night like this, you pick a loose ball up like that in forward 50, you're probably feeling like you're about to be tackled. Just had a little bit more time to steady.
5-2 last week for Finlayson. Just that minor score tonight. Patton gives it everything he's got. Aliir and Hill go together. Burne-Jones leads King to it. Terrific pick up and give to Houston, who keeps it in, and then handball comes unstuck. Brett Ratten continues to chat away. Benny McGlynn continues to listen.
St Kilda looking for their 6th win in a row. Huge stakes. Port Adelaide desperate to build on last week's win over the West Coast Eagles. Hack forward. Nicely played, Dan Houston. He's been a really consistent performer for Port Adelaide. Back to the flight, Seb Ross. Not an easy mark to take in these conditions.
Yeah, great mark. Sinclair was there talking to him, though. He had good voice from his teammate, which is important when you're coming back under a high ball.
Oh, it was a really brave kick from Bradley Hill. He wanted long, 50-50 ball. Pepper slid in and did it really well. Advantage paid. Porter going to take it. Marshall's been quiet. This is the one they've moved quickly from here. Decides just to take a little bit of time. Back to Darcy Burne-Jones. They've got a leading option out there in Willem Drew. So they've got some great benefit early part of this quarter from really quick ball movement. Now a lot of numbers back there. Big clash of bodies. Awkward ball for Patton. Put it out in front of Bradley Hill. Tracking the boundary line. Floats it. Gains about 40 metres. Jonas in front. Windhager picked it up nicely. One-on-one with Gresham and Burton. This is a good contest. Gresham's dangerous. Look at the speed of Gresham. Socketed it to himself. He want to have another go. Burton competed really well, but it might have been deliberate. And it is. The pressure of Gresham has won a big ball, and he will like his chances from here, Jade Gresham.
He didn't have a lot else, did he, Burton? He was under siege there. He had Higgins right there with him as well. Gresham and Higgins, it was a 2-on-1. Always going to be deliberate. Haven't got much now, the old defenders down there.
Jade Gresham gave it a decent ride. He was 9-4 for the year heading into tonight, and he's missed. And so the runner behinds continues for the Saints, and 10 in a row now. Some stress for Brett Ratten.
He's normally good at those too, Gresham.
Bonner finds Dumont, who has a break. Suddenly things feeling very different to half-time. Uncontested possessions, huge disparity so far in this term. 44-20 now. More here. Houston to Bonner. To Farrell.
Play on.
Now a big chance for Port Adelaide. Deep ball again. Dangerous man. Gray, not quite. Sinclair to Patton. And then a low ball to Burne-Jones, who stops it only momentarily. Lots of St Kilda jumpers around if they can pick it up and be clean. Hill weaves his way out of trouble and then into the middle. The leading Membry had the football in his sights. Ends up with it, but should have marked it. Couldn't quite. Hayes, Wines, Drew, Boak, fumble, regather, kick. Now it's a bit of an opportunity. Georgiades, Powell, Pepper, Dougal Howard off a boot. Trying to go through Marshall, couldn't quite. Over the top it came Boak. Still an enormous amount of pressure. McKenzie had to think quick, didn't quite clear the zone. Houston couldn't slap it away. McKenzie picked it up, went around the corner. Wilkie, lucky to have Sinclair close by. And on his left, back into the middle of the ground.
Gresham and Burton. Gresham kept his feet nicely again. Burton got back up, and another little win for Jade Gresham. Here comes Bradley Hill.
King is one out if they go quick.
He just didn't see it, did he, Richo? You're right. It was the
Didn't really look, did he?
You can see top of your screen. He has Aliir in the one-on-one situation. Windhager back to Seb Ross, who's going to sidestep Ollie Wines. Touch play on Zakul. And look at Aaliyah. Just always prepared to back himself in. Once again, he finds Darcy Byrne-Jones.
Yeah, he'll always position himself in front, Aaliyah.
If you've just joined us, the Saints by 13 at quarter time, 14 at the long break. They've kicked 10 behinds in a row. And Port have kicked the last 4 goals of the game. Biggest lead of the night, 19 points after Higgins got the first of the second term. Since then, Wines got the first of the night for Port. Then all 3 in this third term to Port Adelaide. Gray, Farrell and Gray again. Campbell. Wearing the St Kilda jumper for the first time. Having said all that, Port still haven't been able to hit the lead. Wines.
So it's worked really well for that off the boot of Ollie Wines. But you called it at the start of this quarter, Richo. That was really tried to keep Robbie Gray as their deepest forward, and he's been the most dangerous player forward of centre for the night. Given the conditions, it makes sense, doesn't it, have him one out as much as you can?
Yeah, definitely. A great one-on-one player. And he's continuing to be that deepest forward. And they've been able to get the kicks over the numbers and actually get it to some one-on-one situations. And Gray's kicked a couple this quarter.
Campbell, his first game in a St Kilda jumper. Motlop, that was pretty clever in the end. Georgiades, one-on-one Saints defenders, a little nervous moment. Wilkie's handball partially smothered. Motlop working really hard. Clever little knock-on it was. Sinclair. Now McKenzie. Did Wines tackle him? Umpire said no. Back to Byrne-Jones. Here come Port Adelaide again. Robbie Gray, the deepest forward. Dougal Howard. Timely fist. Trying to get through. Farrell. More pressure. Port Adelaide piling it on. Big Tom Campbell. Can he get down below his knees? Awkward ball for the Saints to defend. Here they come again. Flick back. Butters to Boak, who's going to centre it. Big chance coming up here for Port. Ground ball to be won. Long couldn't pick it up. Robbie Gray again. Skies the handball. Windhager. Well played, Georgie. Got through. Some genius from Motlop coming up.
Webster, game 119. Son number 66, Premiership skipper and Hall of Famer Darryl Bordock played for the Saints. Campbell involved in all of that. Terrific pick-up in the end. Windhager, off it goes. Saints hopeful on the wing, but Byrne-Jones, brave, went back with a flight. Butler, though, going Port Adelaide's way here. Butler might have been held. Umpire's seen something we haven't. What was it, Richo? Might pick it up on the replay.
No.
Byrne-Jones this time has it intercepted by Campbell. So the Saints will lose the third term for the first time this year.
Yeah, I reckon the first thing Brett Ratton will say at three-quarter time is we've just got to shut down space a little bit better. Too many uncontested marks for Port Adelaide in this quarter. They've really been able to control the third quarter pretty well. Saints still got the lead, though.
There's the three-quarter time siren. Zaylee Stadium here in Cairns. Saints last 10 scores all behind. Port Adelaide charging home. Don't go anywhere. 1 point ball game. We'll be back with the result next. The final quarter. Saturday night footy live from Cairns.
Sub front, unfortunately, Georgiades is done for the night with the calf, and Dersma is coming in for this final term for Port Adelaide.
Thanks, Abs. Let's have a look at the industry super funds, compare the pair.
might get that one in, Richo. Just unlucky.
I tell you what,
I know you were keen.
He loves it, Richo.
I know you were keen.
Xavier Dersma, as the medical sub-activator, yes. Richo, is actually a big in this final term for Port Adelaide, who fought back to make a real contest of this. Mark taken at half-back. Ben Long running hard out there is Ryder. 1-point ball game in Cairns. Kick from Mason Wood. Down the line, awkward one for Ollie Wines. Now Dan Houston, well done, Bradley Hill, good tackle. That might be some spark for St Kilda. Bradley Hill. Trying to con the umpire that he was going to go long. A beautiful kick. He played it superbly, Bradley Hill. Distracted the man on the mark. Ben King presented. He couldn't have kicked that any better.
Yeah, I love the 5 seconds, 6 seconds before that kick, though. King just was moving, continuing to move around, keeping the defender on his toes. And then he released perfectly. He knew where the space was.
Last 10 shots of the game, all behinds for St Kilda. This is massive. Max King, what's he done? He's got it. Just what the Saints needed. Well played, Big Max. Huge moment in this game.
You can see King there at the top of the goal square. He knew where the space was. He didn't have a lot of it, but he just pushed back into Cleary and then just turned around and presented at the footy. But he didn't stand still. You've always got to be on your toes, keeping the defender guessing. And he used what little space he had there.
Last quarter specialist, King. 19 goals this year, 9 of them in final terms. Memory charges at the football. Had it, lost it. Burne-Jones puts it around the corner. Gresham now. This kick so important. King's around the place again.
Just multiple efforts again from King. That is brilliant. Led up at the footy, didn't get the mark. And he thought, no, well, I'm going to have another crack here. He turned around and then led to the pocket. Multiple leads. That is really good. Got him behind Cleary. Got a couple of metres on him. Brilliant leading patterns.
Well, there it is again, the little man on the shoulder.
He still wants the footy, though, Hayman.
Yes,
I know you've got to convert, and it hurts your team when you don't. But I bet you he keeps presenting at the footy.
Yep.
But you do have to convert, clearly. It's your job. You paid well as a key forward.
4-14, not a score line that you want. Zach Butters trying to milk a 50 there, and he took a bounce with his head down, but he's going to be an absolute A-grader, Zach Butters, if he's not already. Out wide, Houston. Powell Pepper, this is a good build-up from Port Adelaide. Little fumble from Finlayson. Good enough to go back and get it. What can Rosie do? Had to work through some heavy pressure. Windhager in there initially. Saints defenders get it, and then a big leap, Mason Wood. Took a strong grab at half-back and puts his hand up and just wants to take a little bit of time here.
Wood to Gresham. See the middle of the ground's become pretty heavy going. Plays to the outer side. This time King again, as Richo said, desperate for the football.
He can get on a roll, can't he, once he starts taking a few marks.
Mitch Georgiades. Tracksuit top on. Bonner and Motlop in front of him. Charlie Dixon to his left. Viewers right. Two faraways. You heard with Abby Holmes at three-quarter time. Here's a chance for Hill. Needed a couple of goes at it. Didn't take it by hand. Kicked it about 25 metres. Demont moves it on to Dersma. Fresh legs on the ground. Can Port manufacture something here? Marshall Lost track of it, then found it again. Tackled by Howard.
It's a DDT then.
Good tackle.
Almost a free kick there, I would have thought.
DDT?
Yeah.
What's that, Richard?
That's just a wrestling move.
Right here.
I'll show you back at the hotel later, Jude.
Look forward to that.
Windhager cruises on through. Didn't get the handball away. Wine somehow found Demont. Chance for Port Adelaide here. Inside forward 50. Battle. Wanted Patton. Powell Pepper hard on his hammer. Still Finlayson charges at the football. Little give. Aim on. Back to Finlayson. Low ball off a hand. Needs to be quick here. Rosie left it behind. On the up. Steele found it. Gave it off to Sinclair. Saints out of trouble at least momentarily.
Jonas was big there. The skipper gets going. He drives a long ball. Marshall got to compete against a couple. Opportunity there for Robbie Gray for a millisecond, but couldn't keep it in. On a knife edge, this game here in Cairns. Going to have to take your opportunities here in this final quarter. Saints with a chance here. Hayes sort of smashed it back towards the boundary line, and they'll reset again. Xavier Dersmer out there. Activated medical sub. See if they can get some system going here with the young ruckman. Keep an eye on Robbie Gray's very good rider intelligently. Gained some territory and got over the boundary line. Now, Rosie was hinting that that was insufficient attempt. Umpire not having a piece of it.
So Port making a charge. Second outing here for the Saints. Last year, Saints led the Crows 36-0 and got rolled. These two sides know how to play in a tight finish. Chance here for Wood to clear the area. Does pretty well. Higgins got to deal with Burton. Burton had the strength, just kept him under the football. Boak had the runner. Burton can kick the football a long way. Floats. And floats out of bounds on the full. 33 times these two sides have met. 6 times it's been decided by a goal or less. Bad news for Saints fans is Port have won 5 of those 6.
Hayes did pretty well from behind Ryder.
Port Adelaide free.
Port Adelaide free kick. They were all over it, the Port players out there, and Carl Amon knew it was his ball. Awkward one at ground level. Robbie Gray fighting hard for it. Hacked off the ground by Josh Battle. Still a slippery ball to pick up at half forward. Port Adelaide going to send it back. And a really well-crafted kick in the end of Todd Marshall. Nicely done, Ryan Burton on the left foot. Todd Marshall hasn't had a lot of opportunities. This is big.
This is a beautiful kick. Around the corner. Marshall, first time he's probably been on his own inside 50 all night. It's a big kick.
He's 9-1 from set shots, Todd Marshall. 11 goals for the year. 2 bags of 5, including last week. Distance not an issue. Open the arc a little bit. And he steers it home. Todd Marshall. Big goal.
Well, he certainly makes the most of his opportunities on the set shot. Marshall, 2 bags of 5 this year.
He's 12-1 for the year.
12-1. So he's not getting a lot of footy. But when he does, he's making the most of his set shots. And that was a big one. And how many more goals are left in this game? You're going to have to take your chance if you get one. Timed that beautifully off the boot. Didn't overkick it from 50, but that sailed through easily over the fence. Nice timing, nice kick.
12-1 for the year now for Marshall. Since the Saints led by 19, it's been 1 goal 11 to 5 goals 4. Port Adelaide get within a couple of points. Haven't been in front all evening. Patton, desperate. Couldn't find his boot. Dersmer wanted Drew. Drew couldn't take it cleanly. Little chance now. Wines sweeps the handball wide. Amon runs to 50. Selfless puts it to a good spot. And Farrell ends up with a football.
That is as good a kick as you will see. Just his ability there to get that across his body, just into the perfect spot for Farrell. Have another look at this. What a leg he does have on him.
Would have been tempting to blaze away. Held onto it. Found Farrell. Back from the knee. Second game. Kicked one on return. Not to be. 1 point game.
You wanted Amon kicking a goal as well as putting it in there, didn't you? She's got a good leg.
Good composure, Ken Hinkley. He would have been burning inside with that, knowing just how important taking your chances are going to be. Marshall in pretty good position here, used the body well. Robbie Gray picked it up, open goal square, goal coming up. Robbie Gray missed it. Oh, you'd like to have had your house on him there.
I thought he might have gone low there, not high. He doesn't normally miss those. Robbie Gray makes the right decisions 9 times out of 10.
Just under 13 to play. Level game. Gray a rare miss. Bouncing ball. In fact, out of bounds on the full, so Port Adelaide can reload again. Suddenly things a little more tense in the St Kilda coach's box. Farrell into the pocket. Gray uses his body almost for Marshall. Battle. Did well, stood up. And then blazed away outside of defensive 50. It goes and into the second row. Port Adelaide Stadium.
Port have got the setup, sorry Hamish, exactly how they would like it behind the ball. Aaliyah being the last player in line. Look down the line there, you can see Aaliyah as that last player. That's the sort of setup they want behind the footy.
Gone with Pow Pepper as their second ruck tonight. Port Adelaide, and there he is, using his skill at ground level. Rosie, slick little handball back to Carl Amon. Nice step, got through, and then wobbles it inside forward 50. Almost ended up in the crowd there, Dougal Howard. But that is the first time tonight that Port Adelaide have hit the front. Good time to do it.
It's going to be super tough for the Saints to work their way through.
Dougal Howard looking for loose change. 97 minutes into the game, and finally Port have get their noses in front. Can they stay there? Aaliyah hoping to find a Port Adelaide jumper. Does so, but gives it off to Bonner. Towards full forward. Finlayson, Gray. Wilkie, cool head. Off to Mason Wood. Wood now. Wanted the youngster. Farrell again involved. Suddenly you feel as though there's a big swing for Port Adelaide in terms of their season. A win coming from behind up here, or the Saints half a dozen in a row.
The last 11 inside 50s in this game. Port Adelaide, Houston trying to work a little 1-2 with Kane Farrell, couldn't keep it in. Jack still involved in that. Can be season defining, these close games, when you look back at the end of the year and desperate to get over the line. Pow Pepper's battled really hard. Gresham has had some really good moments. Aaliyah, Membry had to play the role as defender. Jonas picked it up, got around Mason Wood. Scrambles a kick down the lines. All St Kilda. Jack Steele with a slippery footy. Connor Rosie over the top. Wanganeen-Milera. Tom Campbell nearly missed a footy there. Went sideways. In fact, the kick went backwards unintentionally. Marshall's all of a sudden in the game. Houston piggyback Steele. Play on was a good decision from the umpire. Back in there was Wanganeen-Milera, and he had the class to step through some traffic. Nice pick up, Membry. They're going to turn defence into attack here. Max King, Cleary got rid of him fairly, and Cleary's played it well.
And suddenly from under pressure into the hands of Dersma. Port Adelaide have got a loose man over the top. Use him now. Amon. Low ball. Might just sit for Drew. No, he runs out of room.
Saints just can't generate any outside ball at the moment. Everything is hard for them. Port Adelaide look more likely this quarter. 27 uncontested possessions to 10. I just feel like they just seem to have a little bit more run and been able to get a little bit more overlap and players into space. It's all hard work for the Saints, Hamish.
5 of the last 6 goals Port Adelaide's way. On the back foot early with momentum now. That is a flip of a coin job. Port by a point. Back inside the forward 50. Marshall kicked the last. Finlayson to Gray. Tries to find a friend. Couldn't quite. Finlayson wanted poke. Didn't find him. Long. Ricochets. Powell Pepper. Goalkeeper is Dougal Howard.
Dominating play all of a sudden, Port Adelaide.
It's 12 inside 50s out of the last 13, I reckon, there. Definitely 9 out of 10, but it's more like 12 out of 13.
Howard swung from early going. Early in the night, all Saints in that area.
Howard just waltzed around Marshall, looking for Ryder. Over the top, Burton fists it down. Jack Steele having to go backwards to go forwards. Crouch. Up and under job. Well done, Jack Steele. Brave, courageous, got a great sense of...
King has to make a contest down the line. It's probably a good result in the end, that kick, because Ben King was out of position. Aliir was down the line 50 metres. If he had a blaze long, it just would have been a mark to Aliir. King couldn't get back to make that a 2-on-1, so that's actually a good result. And reset up now, the Saints.
So the Saints staring at one of their best starts ever. Port trying to overcome their worst start ever. Trying to make it 2 in a row. Saints trying to make it 6 in a row. Wines desperate for the same ball as Higgins. Well done, Dumont. Gave it off. Burton, as always, finds a way to get plenty of distance. Finlayson couldn't control the slippery ball. Saints trying to go 6-1. They've only done it 3 times in their career. The last time was 68. Gone 7 and zipped 3 times too. Led for most of the night, trailed by 2. Ryder. All that experience and wisdom. What can he do against Hayes? Chance for Crouch. Ball runs away from him. Man in the right spot this time, Houston. Into the pocket, it sails again. Gray versus Wilkie. Wilkie double fist the ball long on the end of it. Sees something he likes on the outer side. Foot race is on. Farrell. Wanganeen-Milera. Youngster's got the speed. Can he keep it in front of him? Does very well. Blows past Jonas. Continues to run at the footy. Gets another 10 or 15 metres. Still a ball's got to be won. Memory off the ground. Picked up neatly by Burton. And Port on the rebound.
Now good Wanganeen-Milera. On the outer wing. Powell Pepper's worked really hard and it'll be thrown in. You only get nervous chasing that man there. Wanganeen-Milera, he's just electric. Look at how fast. So they've got Hayes back on after a spell. Sam Hayes, 205-centimetre ruckman. All these little 50-50 contests are massive.
They've got equal numbers either side of this stoppage, so there's opportunities. If you can win it forward, there are some one-on-ones ahead of the footy for both teams.
Ryder, so skillful in the stoppages, picked up by Houston. Hacks it round the corner. Motlop and Long. Boundary throwing.
It's going to come down to perhaps which forward 50 can take a contested mark in this next 8 minutes. I reckon there's going to be many uncontested ones taken, so who can take a contested mark inside 50?
How does it play out? Hayes behind. Crouch sharked it well. Works it to the wing. Higgins, is that an important little hand to it? Butler Wood, Jonas. And the Saints leave Cairns 6-1. Will Port leave 1-6? Was it 5-2, 2-5? Wood hurriedly gains 20 metres or so.
Well, they've worked themselves down to 60 metres out here with a stoppage. Opportunity for the Saints to go inside 50. Membry, the deepest forward.
Tired ruckman. Ryder collides with Hayes. Again, it's Crouch who ends up with a football. Low one for King. Too tricky in the end. Comes off a foot or two. Ricochets towards Boak. Chance now for Bonner. High up and under ball. A long wait for Wines. Had it. Just slipped through his fingertips. Patton was good. Wanted a Ross. Found him. Suddenly he found the boundary. Everything screams of urgency now.
Josh Battle's thrown himself forward at the moment as well.
Paddy Ryder, really clever in this situation. Farrell toe poked it forward, nicely picked up by Long. Standing in the way though was Boat. Got it out in front of Pal Pepper. Streaming forward. Pal Pepper decides to go with a big long bomb. Marshall, Dougal Howard, juggled attempted mark, and that is a big play against his old side. So just 2 points the margin. Might only be a goal in it either way. He sold himself into some trouble. Well played, Marshall. Refused to give up on it. And they get a little win there, Port Adelaide.
Feels like a big win, actually. Das, well called there. Marshall just never gave up on that, but now they can push up, set up how they want, and take a bit of time here.
Well, if you have a look at that, it was all hands around the neck early. You'd think that he's going to go back and have a look at his first goal in AFL football in just his third match.
So that Marshall smother now.
Gives it off to Bonner. Bonner, well, he's not going to make the distance. It'll just fall short in the square. Oh, wasn't a touch on it, I don't think.
Thought that was through.
Hayes knew his limitations, and I think so too did the players around him. Plenty of Port Adelaide players screaming for it.
They've had huge issues getting from their fullback kick in past the halfway mark. Dougal Howard's had it up. He said, I'll just dump it long in the Membry direction. All over that was Jonas. Tried to slap it forward was Boak. McKenzie had his handball smothered. Farrell did well. Mason Wood back there. Wanganeen-Milera. Beautiful little sidestep. Equally good kick as well to Crouch. Doesn't see a lot that he liked initially. Now prepared to carve out a short one to Jack Steele. Can they get a big mark down the line? Where's Max King? At the back, Membry. Swooped on it nicely. Wanganeen-Milera, a little bit of space. Bouncing and through for a minor score.
Got away with that there, Port Adelaide, but didn't kill the ball over there on the half-forward flank. Let it get over the back. And that was a really good opportunity for the Saints.
One goal, 12 now. St Kilda from that 3-3 position they were in. Mason Wood hurriedly around the corner. Bouncing ball for Higgins. Kept it in front of himself. Still chance for the football. Off the ground it goes. Back to the defensive side. Here's a chance for Ross. Into the pocket. Who's at home for St Kilda? King just out of position. Mason Wood cruising on by but couldn't control the football. 4:44 on the clock.
He's done well in a couple of contests, Clury. After King took a few marks early in this quarter, he's been able to fight back.
Port Adelaide by 2 points. Did trail by 19. St Kilda kicked the first 3 goals of the night. Desperate for one here. Just held off at Higgins. Ryder went and got it. Gave it off to Higgins. He fires it. Goal! 1 goal, 13.
The experience of Paddy Ryder in these boundary throw-ins, a real advantage for St Kilda. Used to play at Port Adelaide. So a 1-point ball game.
I think that's a good decision. I haven't seen a long kick-in work in this second half from either team. Now you can actually clear a bit of territory down the line, so it's not just one kick back in.
And that's exactly what Ryan Burton does. Richo Ryder in the way. Out the back, Bradley Hill read it better than anyone else. Picked it up superbly with one hand. Just tumbles it back down the line. Sliding in Max King. Brilliantly done, the big man. Trapped it at ground level. Steele was in there. Flicked it out wide nicely. Chance coming up for the Saints. Burton in front of Higgins. And the former Hawk comes up with a big play.
Hayes involved, so too Howard. Climbed over the top. Wood, Crouch, terrific. Ross from about 55. Can they scramble a point and level things up? Can they do better and hit the front? Aaliyah shovels it through.
How good was that Howard spoil? It was worth a kick. Back inside 50.
Pretty good composure from Aaliyah too. Scores a level, but we see defenders just panic with that rush behind, and he took the best option available. Saints piling on some pressure all of a sudden. Boat, Jack Steele, we know how well he tackles and competes. Big 50-50 full ball to be won. Bradley Hill in there. Socket forward by Montlop. Nice pick up, Jimmy Webster. Here come the Saints. Oh, huge smother Farrell. Ricochets back to Seb Ross. King had it fisted away from him. Aaliyah trying to pick it up at ground level to Connor Rosie. High floater to the wing. Howard, Motlop just shinned it forward. Picked up in the end by McKenzie. Back out to Seb Ross down the line through the hands of Bradley Hill. He's going to hack it forward off the ground. Max King picks it up to the goal square. Higgins and Burton one-on-one. Can Max King get the winners off hands through for a point? And the Saints are back in front.
So Port Adelaide with ball in hand. 2.5 minutes to play. Last 7 inside 50s to St Kilda. Wines, an important slap into the middle of the ground. No Port Adelaide player there. Howard, clever. Knew he couldn't pick it up and handball. Toe poked it towards Sinclair. Patton's ball smothered by Boak. Patton again picks it up. Gets some territory. 2 great jumpers at the fall of the ball. They combine well. Cleary to Houston. Houston down the line. Amon, important grab. Got a runner in Powell Pepper. Powell Pepper now. Short little ball. Just a bit overcooked in the end. Spills backwards to Powell Pepper. Handball over the top. Amon there for Port Adelaide. Driving ball long. Motlop, big fly. Nothing doing. Rosie, little handball to himself. Motlop picks it up. Contemplates. Back to Butters. Butters kicks. Fires. Level ball game.
Jeez. Some big contests.
Extraordinary scenes here in Cairns. Minute 39. How about the tension in the coach's box? Scores level.
King setting up down the middle for the long one.
Is that where Dougal Howard is going to go? He shapes to come.
It's gone to a 2-on-1.
Yeah, Ryder was the one though.
Big win.
Big contested mark, Richo. Gresham wants it short. That's where it heads. Max King the deepest forward. Gresham pulls the trigger. Aaliyah one-on-one with Battle. Play on was the call. 50-50 ball. Started as a medical sub Dersma. Unloads a big barrel if you don't mind. To half forward. Rosie picked up by Membry. Here come the Saints.
70 seconds on the clock. The St Kilda Football Club move it forward. Higgins needed to take the half volley cleanly. Burton, Higgins, little slap from Higgins towards Wines. Wines now to Farrell. High up and under. Players collide in the middle of Kazales. Ball desperately fought for. Rosie, clever. Butters, Houston runs out of time. He gets some ball wide. Bouncing ball for Gray. Can he stop it before the boundary line? Can. Normally good here. Gray settles, kicks, minus score. Is that enough?
He's been the hero before, Robbie Gray. Now they know nothing but straight up the corridor, and that's where Dougal Howard goes. A high spinning ball, Ryder underneath it. Wines with courage. 50-50 ball to be won. Well played, Ollie Wines. The mark's been paid, and Robbie Gray went about 6 metres, I reckon.
Robbie Gray will just suck up time here. He knows exactly what he's doing.
So the clock continues to tick, and that may be the ball game right there. Now being called to play on. He's decided to go short, and Port Adelaide, they trailed for most of this game. They've come from behind. A thriller in Cairns. The Power with their second win of the year. Saints fall just desperately short of their 6th win in a row. Big win for Port Adelaide. Let's get down to ground level with Abby.
Thanks, Darth. We're down here with Ollie Wines, who is absolutely knackered. It's incredibly tough conditions, but a huge win for the footy club. How proud are you of the group and their ability to grind it out?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to muster the words up at the moment. Incredibly proud of the boys to stick tough there. Look, our season didn't start the way we wanted to, and we've taken so many learnings out of that forward, and we've got 2 in a row now where we're no way known's back on track, but I think we're on the right track, and we've just got to keep plugging away.
We've still got a number of players to come in. We spoke to Charlie Dixon. He's, 2, 3, 4 weeks away, however long it is. But do you feel like you're starting to find your rhythm? As you said, it was a tough start, but 2 in a row, it's a pretty good feeling here.
Yeah, certainly. Charlie's absolutely pivotal to our team. He has been in the past, and we've probably had to learn a little bit of a different way to play going forward with perhaps players that aren't as combative in Toddy Marshall and Jez. We've had to find other ways to get them the ball, and to the mids credit, the backs credit, and to those boys credit, they've worked really well, and we've been able to get a couple of wins now.
How have you seen Connor Rosie's inclusion to midfield?
I just said to him then, he was huge in that last 5 minutes to get us over the line. He's an incredible player, and he's got a fair bit of flack this year, but yeah, we've got full faith in him. Thanks so much for your time, Ollie. Congratulations, and we'll see you next Friday night against the Dogs. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Pretty happy Ollie Wines, the Brownlow medalist, and sometimes those wins against the odds are season defining. Let's get